Welcome to the GCN Tech Clinic, where we aim to answer your bike and tech related questions. As ever, you can submit your questions down in the comments section below using the hashtag askgcntech, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as possible each week within the allotted time.
Right, I don't want to use any time up, straight into the first question. It's from Dan Tuber. They say, my brackets arse burning question. Do you apply chamois cream on the chamois or directly to your rear end? I don't really tend to use chamois cream much. But
I don't use it. I've never used it.
The times when I have, I've put my shorts on and then I've dived in and applied to the undercarriage delicate areas.
Yeah?
That's how I've gone about it. But I have seen lots of people put it onto the chamois and then put on. But if you put it on the chamois and then try and put your shorts on, I feel like you just drag all the chamois cream off up your legs.
Yeah, I just don't really use it. I tend to, I think if I were to use it, I would put some on and just...
Hank actually made a whole video about chamois cream, I believe, which I've managed to avoid watching.
I've also managed to avoid watching it.
Next question, who have we got?
Hitet Aung.
Yeah.
I definitely haven't pronounced that right.
Done a good job though.
Says, how deep is too deep and how shallow is too shallow for deep section wheels?
Wow.
Does it make a huge difference? Of course, who doesn't like deep section wheels? They look fantastic. If you compare two wheels, like with 88 millimeters depth, how big of a difference would it be? And what about flat aero-bladed spokes? Are they any better than normal spokes? Are they worth the price? Right, first up, spokes.
Yeah.
Yes. Bladed aero spokes do have a significant aero advantage over standard round spokes. When wheels have been developed over the years, there's a significant drag reduction there. Because one of the worst shapes aerodynamically is a cylinder. So if you change the shape of that and make it not a cylinder, that often does have a big impact on wheel design.
I'm going to throw it out there that the difference between an 80mm and an 88mm deep rim isn't going to be huge.
No.
Certainly if they're the same shapes.
Yes, well, in some cases there are going to be 80mm wheels out there that are faster than 88mm wheels from different brands that are slightly different shapes, depending on how well optimized that is. You know, so that's factoring as well. But in terms of like an 80mm depth wheel, yeah, in most instances it is going to be the faster wheel across a course of, even with climbing terrain and descending. And the reason why you wouldn't use that wheel, and we've sort of said this before, is basically like stability. Yeah. So it's the reason why you see pros not using anything sort of beyond 10 to don't really ride beyond 50mm depth in the peloton, because as soon as you have windy conditions or side winds, it becomes very challenging to take your hands off the bars when you've got a wheel that deep. And being able to take both hands off the bars is a crucial skill that's required in pro racing for getting dressed, undressed, taking food, etc., for many different things. So the handling impact of having a super deep wheel is the thing to be worried about. I
think in terms of too deep, too shallow, 50mm seems like a good balance in most cases. That's what most wheel brands have tended to hover around that region. Yeah. Yeah. And although there is a very slight benefit for, like I say, a 30mm wheel, you're not really getting much. No. So if you want to get kind of the best all-round depth, around that sort of 50mm depth is good. All right. Ride More, Live More says, can I put grease on my chain if I'm just riding indoors on the trainer, thinking that it will increase the chain's longevity? I'm not so sure. I think it could work perfectly fine. It's not going to attract any dirt because you're riding indoors. However, the same principles apply. The chain lubes which reduce wear and friction the most indoors and outdoors are going to be just fine to use indoors.
On the indoor trainer, wax chain, brilliant, stays clean. And you say it's not going to attract dirt, but there is dust and stuff inside. Dust does build up. And the wax chain isn't going to attract anywhere near as much dust, whereas that stickier lube is. It'll make your components will last longer if you wax chain indoors, and it makes no sense. It makes perfect sense to me.
Alan Wiseman says, what are the key features to look for when choosing road shoes? Balance of power, comfort for a social cafe rider. First thing I would do is decide how much money you want to spend, decide your budget, and then look at the different options that are available within the budget that you want to spend. Key things that I would look out for: choose a sole that matches up to the shape and the contours of your feet, because lots of different shoes are different shapes. And then simply choose an enclosure system that you like the look of and a shoe that you feel comfortable with. There's a reason why bike shops exist and allow you to try a lot of this stuff.
I think for a cafe social rider, the most important thing is comfort.
Yeah.
And also get something that you like the look of.
Yeah, and if you want to walk around a lot in your shoes, maybe consider one with a recessed cleat, like a small mountain bike style cleat. Depends how far you plan on cycling.
Next question is from Arnaud Valente, who says, or Valente, who says, I've been thinking of buying a new bike and am wondering, what do you think is the best investment? A bike with a top tier carbon frame and lower tier group set? Or a bike with a lower tier carbon frame and a top tier group set? For instance, a Canyon Aeroad CFR with 105 Di2 or an Aeroad CF SLX with Dura Ace Di2. Thanks, GCN. I would say neither of those things.
What would you say then?
I would go, well, I would say the SLX frame.
Yeah.
So like the second tier frame.
Yeah.
And then I would say not top tier group set. I would say, I think like I would then go...
You go middle ground both. I think, yeah, I could probably get on board with that.
I think the CFR is obviously amazing.
Super lightweight.
But in terms of like the gram, like the bang for your buck, you know, the extra saving in weight that you get for the premium price that you pay, like unless, you know, you've got loads and loads of money or you really are chasing like seconds.
Well, it's the same for all brands, isn't it, basically?
Yeah.
The higher up the range of the equipment that you get for any aspect, really, you're spending a lot more money to get a lot less performance advantage. So I think middle ground, you're kind of like, or second tier stuff, you're often ticking the box in a lot better ways.
You know, if you basically spend your money on other things, you'll get greater performance benefit. So if you, it's like what we always say, Dura Ace is twice the price, but it's not twice the performance over Ultegra. So I would go, if you can afford Ultegra Di2, amazing. Like get that, it's lightweight, if Pogacar rode Ultegra, he'd still win the Tour.
Yeah. That's the easiest statement of how to explain this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And you know, that's the way I would look at that. But then the money that you would save from not getting Dura Ace, spend that on having waxed chains and like waxing setup,
good
several
bike
chains.
maintenance.
Yeah, and like your bike being clean compared to being dirty, and having a good, clean, efficient drivetrain will make more difference than going from Ultegra to Dura Ace.
That's really sensible advice for us. Normally we're just like lightweight aero, get the whole lot.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Jacob says, I'm just about to start learning basic bike maintenance. Do I need to get a dummy hub, or is that not needed? It's definitely not needed, but it is a useful tool to have, because when you remove the rear wheel, you don't got the chain damaging the paintwork. Makes it easier to do other maintenance tasks. So it's a relatively low cost tool or gadget to get. So I think, why not? It's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Useful as well, like when you're traveling with your bike, if you want to keep the chain in.
Very true. Last comment.
Random content says, are 11-speed chains more durable than 9 or 10-speed chains?
I have not seen loads of detailed evidence about this, but in theory, the wider the chain, so the less speeds it's for, it should reduce the amount of wear because there's a greater contact patch between the teeth and the chain and stuff like that. But I don't know about this, so yeah, I feel like it might be the case, but I don't know.
I would have to ask, I think the person to ask would be Zero Friction Cycling.
Maybe we'll find out next week.
Adam over there, reach out to him, find out. But I would say it's a very difficult question to answer because different chains are made from different things. So as Shimano's then improved, you know, for example, Shimano, as they've improved, it's not just the chain going from 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 speed. The materials that the chain is made from, the surface coatings that are applied to those alloys that the chain is made from have also improved. And so you've probably got chains now which are harder wearing despite being narrower.
That's really true.
And so that does match up anecdotally with what I've found when using chains over the years. Like I haven't noticed that my chains are wearing out a lot quicker now than they used to.
Yeah, that's
I'm
going
to reserve judgment on 12 speed because
Yeah.
I don't have enough time really using 12 speed compared to 11 speed. But
yeah, I think in my head I was looking at like for like, but what you're saying, the technology has improved and changed so much that you can't compare one to the other. They're very different products.
I'm going to send Adam from Zero for Issue Cycling a message and see what he says.
All right, there you go. That's it for this week's Tech Clinic. Hope that's helped answer all of your questions. As always, if we haven't got to your question, please keep commenting it in the comments section down below, and we'll get to it in future weeks. Right, we're out of here because Ollie's got to charge his laptop up. See you later.